So let me just talk a little bit about how I approach programming, or what I think about it, and hopefully I can answer as many questions as possible in this one video about programming, depending on what level you're at. And I like to categorize, lifters as a beginner, intermediate, or a advanced slash master's lifter. And as a beginner, I would say, for programming, you don't really need to worry too much about programming. The important thing as a beginner is just to get yourself into the gym, and I understand there's a lot of things that, could be happening, on a Friday night, or, things in that nature. But, for the most part, as a beginner, you just need to get yourself into the gym. Now, once you've been in the gym pretty consistent, and, you finally figured out, what you want to do when you're in the gym, because most people as a beginner, when they go to the gym, they just run on the treadmill. They might do a couple of sets of arms or bench press here and there, and then they're done and they walk out. When you become an intermediate lifter, you can kind of ask yourself, like, why am I going to the gym? What do I want to do? I want to lose some weight. I want to get stronger. I want to increase my bench or squat or deadlift or whatever, right? As an intermediate lifter, that's when I feel like you need to start looking up more information about what you're trying to do, when it comes to especially technique. A lot of different people's free programs that they have out there, especially for powerlifters, bodybuilders here and there. There's a lot of free information out there on the internet. So as an intermediate lifter, you need to take advantage of what we have, YouTube tutorial videos, or find advanced lifters who's been doing it for a very long time and see what they've done when they first started, or what they're currently doing to kind of help you out. So if you're an intermediate lifter, definitely get on, different people's programs, see what works for you. And, after a couple of years of getting into whatever type of training that you're getting into, that's when you kind of get into like the advanced slash master level, where you can write your own programs and assess yourself on what you need to do to get better as a lifter. And these kind of lifters tend to be very open-minded and very humble about how they approach their training. There's no such thing as I know it all. If you're a person who loves to talk to people about how much you know, and every time they talk about some of the stuff that they do and you think it's stupid, then in my opinion, I still feel like you have a mindset of an intermediate level lifter. Because the things that you do that tends to work for you, you believe that's law for everybody. So as an advanced and masters, these type of lifters tend to have a more open mind. They're open to critique. They can write their own programs. They can use other people's programs to help them, and really just try to immerse themselves in lifting. So as for me, I've gone to see a lot of different people just to see what I can do to improve my lifts. When it comes to technique, even though I think I'm pretty decent at it, you always got to have that mind and ear open to kind of hear what you're doing. And I feel like to become a master level lifter, you have to be able to fall in love with the work that you do. Because for me, it's almost like the weights or the gym is kind of like my girlfriend in a way, where I fall in love with what I do. I want to constantly improve my technique, and even when I think it's perfect, I always try to find something else that can make my technique better. Try different accessories that I've never done before for like a training cycle and see how that goes. Ask different people what they think about what I need to work on and stuff like that, and just be very open about it. And I feel like that's what it takes to be a master's level. Somebody who is constantly trying to improve themselves. Never thinking that what they've done is acceptable or satisfied. And for the most part, that's kind of how I think about programming. There's no such thing as a perfect program. Just get on programs and see what works for you, and after a while you'll kind of know what works for you. So just to summarize all that up, when I first started training, I just did whatever. After a few years, I got stronger and I found out what kind of worked for me. But it wasn't until like about 4 years ago when I met some powerlifting guys who really taught me about technique and how I should approach my training, and what I can do to kind of fix those problems. And a lot of the accessories and things that I do nowadays is just a reflection of everything that I've learned. So as of Mondays, I got a raw meet and a quit meet coming through. So as of right now, my programming is to kind of prepare for both of those. I do knee wrap squats on Mondays to kind of prepare for my geared meet in May, And I do speed bench with bands on Mondays now, just to do variations, never just straight up benching anymore. And during those 2 days, I'll probably hit one or two exercises for chest and legs, and then everything else is straight heavy back. And then on Wednesdays and Saturdays, I do my deadlift, raw sumos on Wednesdays, and then I'll do either a deficit or a conventional deadlift on the next deadlift day. And then during those days, I'll do a variation of the bench, like the floor press here, and the narrow stance box squats, which kind of helps out with my bench press, my squat, and my deadlift. So these are just exercises that I'm giving a try. I've never done floor presses or narrow stance box squats this consistently before, but I feel like they've been really helping out. And I'm just, like I said, trying to figure this out. This is my journey. I really like it when people critique me and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, the best teacher is yourself. You can only learn by going into the gym, doing something, failing, doing the best that you can, and figure things out. And that's my approach to programming.